What is up, everyone?
That is it. We are live. And guys, look who we have.
Trap guy dudes all kind of jacked up looking. Oh my goodness, he just popped. Do you see those things pop out there?
What the heck is that? Okay.
I'm going to get some of those.
So you guys at home know him as Paul Linn. I think, what is it, the White Orc? Is that what he's called or something like that?
That's a Neil thing. What do you go by? Paul?
Paul Linn, real name, no gimmicks.
Real name, no gimmicks. Okay, well, here's the deal. I call you the best damn quarter man ever. That's what you are.
That's a good one. That's what you call Paul.
Yeah. So how intense was that last match?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. The energy was awesome. The energy on the stage and around the stage, the support was great.
Oh my God. Every time they started chanting either Michael or Monster, I was like, Michael, you got to feel this. And would you guess? He says he didn't even hear it.
I did.
Oh, he was in his mode for sure. But
I listened to my corner man, though. First time for everything, right?
He did do that. All right, guys, if you are just hopping on, be sure that you hit that like on your way in. Drop some comments. We'll take some questions from you a little bit later on. But right now, we're about to get Michael Todd and Paul Linn discussing the state of arm wrestling today and all the exciting stuff that is happening and going on. And you guys are getting a look at us for the first time, Michael.
First time.
In our podcast room. Nothing is on the walls yet.
Nothing set up even. This is just a table that we had left in here.
That's right.
But yeah,
right.
I like the space a lot.
But we're out of my closet.
We're out of the closet. Oh, we're out of the closet. Look good. All right.
How about that? No, super exciting times. And hopefully, fingers crossed, our streaming will work because we have a new streaming company as well. So.
Yeah, we finally have fiber optic cable, so I'm super excited about that. Which means moving forward, all the Monster Factory events should be trouble-free as well. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Well.
So real quick, Paul, y'all were just talking about the excitement of that match. The whole East versus West event, that entire thing was like you had to be there, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, next level stuff, man. Like totally. I've explained it to like people in my close inner circle and everything, and I can't even do it justice. You know, you like the people who made the trip there, they got their money worth and some. Like it was the closest thing that I've been a part of in arm wrestling to that true like fight environment, like that boxing match UFC thing. The first time where the crowd was really actually a factor, you know. Like you get some support at the tournaments and at events, and you get some people cheering for you. It affects it a little bit, but like the energy during a lot of these matches was unparalleled.
It was amazing, and the thing is that it didn't matter who was up there on the table. They had fans there, and they had people cheering for them, and it was amazing. I mean, it was just so much fun.
It was funny because even with some of the Westerners that came, they didn't even know some of the athletes, but they picked their favorites and they were cheering for them, right? So. That audience was insane. What about when we first got there and we was doing the rules meetings? Like, okay, so the stage is going to raise up, and we're like, what? Like, I thought it was a joke. You're like, well, there's teams cut there, so maybe it's going to happen. I mean, that was a first for me.
Awesome. I'm like, Ang, you had this opportunity the whole time. We've been in the same place. Why haven't you done this before?
It was really cool.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
It was very exciting. My only gripe about that was I wanted to see Michael from both sides. You know, and so because you went up facing the audience, right? Mm-hmm. And then he turns around. I think it was just really cool. Like we needed a 360 view of the athletes like that. It was just so. And Michael, I think he hit the nail on the head when he said the difference was that audience paid to be there. Yeah. Those were real fans of arm wrestling. The ones that were seated right behind the table, those were VIPs, and those were not cheap tickets. And then the ones that were seated out in the crowd, they didn't get the VIP experience, but still, those were not cheap tickets either. And they filled it up. Like, it was filled. You know,
that's not something our sport has ever seen before. So we're talking about the state of arm wrestling where it's at right now. We are on the cusp, and we're on the verge of something really cool happening. I mean, social media, COVID, helped arm wrestling become more mainstream and create a true fan base. Like it's just crazy seeing the amount of people out there who feel like they know us. Like if they walk up to you, they feel like they know you because they've watched so much of your content, right? Because they've seen you on social media. And I just think we're in a very unique space. And
you guys watching at home, it was so intense. The fan experience was so intense that when Michael would need to go to the bathroom, I had to send Paul with him because I couldn't have anybody stopping him. Okay. Because he needed to be able to get to the bathroom and right back to sit down and rest before his match. Or you actually went to the bathroom right before your match. I was like, oh my God. Because people would stop and, pictures and autographs and you never want to say no, but there comes a time where you just have to focus on the match. And then it's hang out and enjoy.
Once you get within about an hour or so of your max time, like you got to back off all that stuff, right? It was so funny, and you know this too, but the amount of people who grab your hand and want a picture, and they're like, "Hey, dude, can you tell me if I feel strong?" I'm like, "I can't do anything. I superstitious. I can't even let you grab my right hand." You know what I'm saying? But they'll like want to grab you. I saw Paul. I came out of the bathroom. I saw Paul in the strap to this kid in the air. Like,
yeah. They get you all the time. I did more air pulling than I ever did in my life.
That's hysterical. Let me read just a few of these here. Arm wrestling only. Congrats on the win, Monster. Keep it going. Sylvester Talone. Looking forward to what's to come. Well done, MMT. Todd, when you went against Devin last time, did you know that it was at a different level?
I don't know what that means.
Don't know either. Paul, you're looking huge.
You look huge. I'm sitting there like, dude, I gotta work my traps right now. I'm about to leave, go downstairs and work out, come back.
Luke Tudber says, hello from Georgia. Oh, we love all of the Georgians. Jeremy Parker is on. Congrats. Glad to see you. And Phil Woody, as always, says welcome, our wrestling fans.
Phil Woody, I sent you the watch from Rockwell. I sent you that post I made. Cannot believe I didn't get a response from that. That was like one of the coolest things that Rockwell wanted to collaborate with me and do a Monster Michael Todd Coliseum fit watch. I mean, I was like, this is amazing. So I just had to call Phil out on that because I hadn't got a response from him. I expected him to say how cool it is. So Phil, you got to tell me. But so Paul, let's talk to you about what are your opinions of where the state of arm wrestling is right now, and what was your actually what you wanted to discuss?
No, that's good. So,
I mean,
let's talk before you talk about where it is right now. Let's talk about where it was when you guys got started. Now, when did you get started, Paul?
I got started when I was 35, I guess the tail end of 2015.
Okay, so you were a bit before that.
Yeah, I'm a short timer. I was like really kind of like the tail end of the WAL tournament series and the shift into the Super Match series.
Okay, when you like end of 15 though, so you saw 16 season, you saw 17 kind of fall apart and then come back in 18. So where was your first event? What was your first exposure to arm wrestling? How did you find out about it?
Buddy, I watch Game of Arms. I tell this anytime somebody tells me like asks about the background. I watch Game of Arms. I found it and I was like, whoa. And I put it on. I'm in bed with my wife. And she's like, I got to like the third episode and she's like, get this shit off right now. I can't handle this. And I was like, no. I'm watching all of it. And I don't believe that these guys are that strong. And then literally a couple months later, I just went and I found the Northeast board and I found a tournament in Pittston, PA, run by Nitro. And it was a little fundraiser, a little benefit tournament for somebody who had their house burnt down. I'll never forget. It was called Fire and Ice. And I showed up there with like a couple guys I coached with and buddies, and they were in this energy drink like marketing program or whatever. And they put me in a shirt and everything. Like I was getting ready to do something important. And I show up to this event and, I win the amateur class in the super heavies. It's like 199 plus. And I jumped in the supers and I lost to Bill Runkle and Jogo Gochi, who were at the time. Yeah, but I was like shook, man. I was like, whoa, I was planning on winning this whole thing, not knowing what I'm doing at all. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I took third in that pro class and I drove home 2 hours questioning my own like masculinity. But it made me that much more interested. And then it just kind of took off from there.
That's such a cool story. I had no idea. Like, I can't believe as long as I've known you, I've never asked you what got you started in arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Let me read this real quick. John Augustin, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm a little scared watching two monsters and a white orc on my phone screen.
There you go.
Sounds like a horror movie of some sort, doesn't it? Thank you so much for that super chat. And hello, Luke Pulcher.
What's up, Luke?
All right. So what you got?
My God.
That's it, right? So yeah, dude, that's great. So Bill, so you won the amateur in the super heavyweight, 199 plus, and then you took third in the pro. First ever tournament.
199 plus, yeah. And I was like, I beat Mike Runkle, who was Bill's brother. Mike was a national champion, and I was probably looking a little dejected. And he came up after me and said, "Hey, man, you're like, don't you walk away from the sport." And the other person that came up to me was Black Ice. I don't know if you know Black Ice.
Yes.
Later on. And he was like, "Yo, give me your contact information. We gonna have practice." You know what I mean? And after that, I took about like 3-4 weeks to heal up. And then after that, I went to Winter Blast in New Jersey, run by Sue Fisher and Jim Bryan. And there I met everybody. There I met Storm, Sam, all these people, Tim Bresnan, Ron Klemba. And I needed a table. So I asked Klemba, I heard Klemba made tables, and he said, "I don't make them anymore, but I have one in my shed. If you come up to practice, you can buy it from me, but I ain't shipping it to you." So I got in my car next Saturday. I drove 6 hours to Connecticut and went to practice and drove home with my forearms like this. Like they destroyed me. And I went back I drove 6 hours the next 3 weeks to practice with those guys. And then that was the spark of it.
You had the bug.
Oh, dude, completely. And my wife at that point, she was super supportive, and she was like, "Yeah, I love it. Get out of the house, go do something." You know what I mean? Just make sure it fits in with family time. And I don't think she had any idea where it was going at that time.
Absolutely not. I'm sure. So yeah, okay. My story is a little different. It was I beat everybody in high school, right? Senior in high school, they said I got over there second in the state. I was at Votech when the cafeteria table, beat the dude. He's like, "You should go to this tournament this weekend." Saline County Fair in 1990, showed up, ended up taking third, was pissed, came back. Oh, I took third too, but I didn't have an amateur class. I just took third.
There you go.
Yeah, came home and I built a wrist wrestling table because it was a wrist wrestling tournament to the heights that I thought, the specs that I thought would be. I built it like 3 inches too tall because I was 6'3", so I built it for me and realized, oh shit, my table's too tall. But I ended up holding tournaments at the boys club, and back then, you just had to get a flyer in the mail. That's how you found out about tournaments. Your mail came, and there was somehow you got on a mailing list.
Yep.
And or you went to the county fair or whatever, the Watermelon Festival, whatever it was, that there was the annual tournament. You just walked around the place until you found out where the arm wrestling registration was.
Yep.
And that was it. And then how did I go to nationals? Because in '92 I went to the national championship. So I went to McLean, Virginia. No, I went to Bossier City, Louisiana, BJ's country, and I beat James Anderson, who was a reigning national champion at the time. I lost to Mark Maxey because he top roped me. Got on the B side of the bracket. Robert Redden had been training for 3 years to beat James Anderson. Put him on the B side, and James Anderson went in the hook with me, and I was just country strong. And I ended up beating him in the hook. Put the national champion out of the tournament, 0-2. So then 4 weeks later, I ran into Craig Touye and Robert Redden at the. I was on the way to where was it at? McLean, Virginia. So I think I might have been in DC Airport. Ran into those guys, or might have been in Charlotte on the connection, and Robert Redden and Craig Touye walked past me. He's like, "What's up, Bill Clinton?" Because I was from Arkansas, and that's when Bill Clinton's president or whatever, running for president. Yeah, so that was it. And then met Steve Sanaway, and he called me Bill Clinton for the rest of my life. But that was it. So that's how 92, I pulled 176s. I'd cut down from 198 to 178, and I got there. I was 2 pounds heavy, so I made a sauna out of the bathroom in the weighing at 174. Cobra won that division. I took 7.
So you guys had told me how you got in. What I want to do is compare what the arm wrestling scene when y'all got in compared to where it is now.
Oh, the arm wrestling scene. Oh, your arm wrestling scene still kind of cool because it was WL and gave arms. So
yeah, you had there was already a certain celebrity to a few elite arm wrestlers, but also arm wrestling as a sport was starting to grow when you got in.
Yeah, mine, Mike, you probably better off going first because yours is predating social media, which is like probably a big milestone in the change of the sport.
Oh, yeah. So mine was crazy. So I'd seen Over the Top, like when I was a kid. So this was before I actually was an arm wrestler. I used to arm wrestle with that. Before I was actually an arm wrestler, I'd seen Over the Top. Watched it because I was a Stallone fan. So then after I, win this tournament, win that tournament, whatever it is, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm going to Vegas. I'm going over this. I had no idea it wasn't a real tournament. Like it was a one-time tournament. So I mean, I'm choosing. I'm looking at college. Or I'm looking at being a pro arm wrestler. So I go to college, and I got to get back. And then I was like, I think I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go to nationals, and I ended up going being an arm wrestler instead of finishing a college degree, right? Because I thought it was gonna be some crazy thing. But yeah, so I mean, it was before social, man. It was just you'd meet people. Then there's Armbender magazine. I got a hold of Armbender magazine after I started going to nationals. So in '92, I think I got the Armbender magazine from nationals. I got on that a quarterly magazine or something.
Like, who did you know? How did you know who the elite people were at that point?
Oh, I pulled John Brzezinski. I took third at Nags Head Beach, North Carolina national championship behind John Brzezinski and Ron Bath at 20 years old.
Did you know who they
were? Of course
were?
I did, yeah. Because I mean, you'd seen the ESPN, so you'd see John Brzezinski, Johnny Walker, Cleve Dean, Goodrich, all those people on ESPN for the Yukon Jack show, and then so that was kind of a highlight. So in Yukon, so I'd won my first nationals, and I didn't win a nationals yet. I didn't win nationals till 2000. So I'd finished third at nationals 3 different times. 93 sit-downs, 93 sit-downs, 93 stand-ups. In 1995, I took third. A couple of those behind Ron Bath, one behind Ron and John. And then in 1995, so my claim to fame was they had the regional qualifiers for the Yukon Jack. And I pulled the super heavyweights and lost to Jerry Catterett and somebody else. I weighed 206 and had to pull 199 plus, right? Yeah. Down in Daytona. And then I 233 and I pulled supers, and I think I'd take fifth or sixth, maybe seventh. I don't remember. But I'm looking down at George Gibbons. I'm like, damn, if I could get down to that weight class, I could win that class. So Bill Brzezinski had won the qualifier, John Brzezinski had won a qualifier, and George Gibbons had won a qualifier. So I dropped 35 pounds in 28 days.
Oh, my Lord.
And I go to Chicago, and I win the Yukon Jack Midwest Regionals.
And so what did you pull at then?
198.
198. So that is why people look at you. You used to pull 198. He dropped 35 pounds.
My first nationals, I pulled 176. Like I literally pulled. I was 176. Then I missed 220. So I was 204. I missed 198. So I had to pull 220 weighing 204. Then I went and pulled 187s in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. And the next year I was 220 again. And then I got fat.
But you graduated high school at 6'3",
6'3" and 215. Yeah.
At 215.
But yeah, so it was a story. I win the Midwest Regionals, and I beat John Brzezinski. I flashed John Brzezinski to do it. John Brzezinski Senior.
Oh, senior.
So you don't have to say senior. You got to say junior. You got to say senior after the day. Yeah. So John's dad was in the tournament, right? Because it's in Chicago.
I bet you nobody in the chat even knows that John Brzezinski is a junior.
Well, they may not.
I bet they don't even know.
John Brzezinski's dad was a pretty good arm wrestler for a long time. John's brother, Bill Brzezinski, badass arm wrestler.
They say Bill could have been as good as John or better, but he just didn't have a drive for it.
Yeah, not the same passion, but very good and very technical too. Like he was a WAF world champ. Like he went to 95 Brazil and won the world championships. A bad dude. But yeah, so for me, arm wrestling, when I got in, the face of arm wrestling, what it looked like then was, I had all these dreams thinking it was going to be this. Actually, the other dream was in 1996, we had a chance to be a demonstration sport for the Olympics, and got bid out for women's beach volleyball. Because I always had this dream. He's going to drive into my hometown. Welcome to a hometown of world arm wrestling champion, Olympic gold medalist, Michael. And that was before I was Monster Mike Todd, I was Michael Todd. So I just thought I was going to represent my country at the Olympics. And then I realized after that, we missed that. We missed the whole feel of going in with the wrestling thing. I thought we're going to take the same path as Ultimate Fighter. So I don't think Olympics are necessarily in our future.
No,
but I do think a similar path as UFC could be something for arm wrestling. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely.
So how about you?
It's right on the cusp of that, I believe. Like when I started in the social media era. So it was the end of the Northeast board. So I got the tail end of the Northeast board where everything was posted on the internet. So I was able to find stuff from there, and literally months it just transitioned into Facebook. So I didn't have Facebook at the time because who wants social media? I learned my lesson when I was in college. But I realized that it was you have to have it in the sport for communication. And I still meet new arm wrestlers now. Like, man, I don't got no Facebook. I don't want to deal with that stuff. And I'm like, man, it's a necessary evil because everything's communicated on there. But yeah, I hopped into maybe that was the beginning of the Renaissance period or whatever, where it became a little bit more mainstream. Game of Arms and WAL, I think made huge strides for our sport. And then like you guys talked about, COVID shut everything down. And then there was the emergence of East versus West in its infancy. which was largely crowdfunded at the time. I think a lot of people forget that there was GoFundMe's. We crowdfunded that as a community to get it started. And I mean, every event is a step forward. So it's super awesome. And you guys mentioned like the little things about like judging where we're at as a sport. Like I understand the totem pole recognition, everything. We all know like which guys are at the top as far as the household names and everything. But even locally or when I travel, it never fails that somebody's like, "Hey, do you arm wrestle?" And it's a weird feeling. I had a buddy that come up and shoot some content with me. I think he's in the chat now. Lawless Luchadors. He wears a luchador mask and everything, does some good videos. But he found arm wrestling and started in the social media, and he went to like High Five and like sat down next to a 55-year-old man. He told me a story the other day, and the guy like said, "Hi, Captain Pretentious." You know what I mean? Like recognized him through just like a new arm wrestler. Because the community has grown so much in social media and the following, and like it's almost less about what we're doing as arm wrestlers now and more about the content that the fan base and the new arm wrestlers are putting out. I think it's monumental. I can't keep up with YouTube anymore. I watch like a few channels. That's all I can, but there's so much out there to digest. It's crazy.
There is. Now, I think that we can all agree, and people have said this over and over, that East versus West, and Devin did the majority of the work to bring arm wrestling, forward. But you cannot discount all of the other channels and social media platforms that have been pushing arm wrestling out there. You've got Schoolboy, you've got us, you've even got Juji and Larry Wheels, and then all of the smaller channels. Everybody, Leonidas, everybody has played a part in getting it to where it's at right now. And I think that's absolutely amazing. It's one of those things like Michael talks. We don't want to tear down any promotion, any channel that is positive and moving arm wrestling forward, because it's the rising tide.
Right.
It's going to raise us all. And so it takes the entire community and everybody that's involved to push it forward.
Right. And I'm not going, like me personally, I'm never going to stoop to the level to tear anybody down, whether it's positive or negative, because it's not really worth the energy. To me, you got an energy bar in life. You're playing that fighting game, your energy's at 100%. You only have so much to give, so why give it to negativity? So, you pay too much attention to negativity, you fight back at it too much, and you just give it validity. So, I mean, I'm 100% with you. I love everything that's going on, and especially the channels that are fact based. Especially like there's certain ones that you can tune into and just get the information without emotion. I love those, and I love the positive and productive ones. There's so many content makers out there now on Instagram and stuff. The people making the sketches and like the caricatures. Like I love all of that. The people doing the reels. This stuff's awesome. They're all doing their little part for a greater good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm not even sure that they all realize it. Like we've been around some people and they're like, "Oh, I just have a tiny little channel. I just started it and I really don't, all I put out is my training." I'm like, you do that, because there is a place for that, and the people that are just getting started, what they're doing to train is as important as what the greats are doing, because the greats didn't start off doing what they do today.
Right.
Everybody started somewhere. So start and just document your journey forward.
Yeah. And there's so much criticism on training styles and approaches and stuff. And I'm pretty sure I just saw a video this morning where Devin is like recounting and recanting his giant pumpkin approach. I've watched Devin in 7 years change his approach to training like 7 times. So like the reality of it is whatever you're doing is probably of some value information. And Mike, I know you've changed so much throughout. I watch all your stuff. You got something new or some new focus all the time. And I think that's paramount. If you're not adapting or trying new things, you're just going to stay the same.
Absolutely. What's crazy, like comparing to where I was when I got started to where arm wrestling is now, the access to knowledge and information is insane. like we didn't know all the tricks and techniques and how to train. Everyone I knew built some sort of pulley system, right? And they just had some gimmicky ass handle. But now you literally can go online how to train for arm wrestling, and you will have a plethora of knowledge. There's so much stuff out there.
At tournaments that we've put on, there have been people that come that have never even pulled at a tournament. All that they know is what they've learned on YouTube, and they've been practicing at their house. One dude won.
Yeah. There's a father and son out of like Missouri or something. Yeah. Who the son's become pretty. I think he's ranked in the 154s nationwide. Mm-hmm. And him and his dad showed up. I think it was a Monster Mach Todd International in 2019. Never arm wrestled a day in his life in a tournament, and just learned how to arm wrestle from watching videos. And was top rope out of fools.
Dude, I see it. It's what I've been dabbling in reffing and stuff, and you can't even set two amateurs up anymore. Like these guys are jockeying for grip. They're like, it's crazy. And I'm like, I'll talk to some guy. I'll fight with him in the setup, and he'll give me a hard time. And I'll talk to him. How long you been arm wrestling, man? Oh, this is my second tournament. Like what? Like who taught you this?
That's funny.
Michael, oh my gosh, because while WAL was still out there and he was actually the champion, we would put on tournaments and he would be like, you learned that from some WAL shit. Stop that. And I'm like,
they'd walk up there like this and just sit there and hold their hand. I'm like, dude, get a grip.
Get a grip. Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? But all they seen was WAL, and they thought that's how you get a grip. And I'm like, shit,
Let me read this real quick. And guys, I am going to get to reading some of your questions. We'll have a Q&A session here. I just wanted to get a good chat in with Michael and with Paul real quickly. MMT, so glad you started YouTube. I only knew you from the WAL Kingsmoon days for so long, and they pointed you as a bad guy. They did want him to be a bad guy. Couldn't be farther from the truth. Keep it up. Congrats on the win. Thank you so much for that super chat, Steven.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
So how do you feel? How do you feel about your experience as an athlete in today's professional realm? Both of you.
I mean, I've experienced, competition, at the pseudo professional level and stuff, and, the college level. And WAL definitely treated you like a professional, it was definitely a professional feeling. And that was my first taste of it. And when I knew I didn't want to go backwards at all, like I'm going to do everything I can do to hang on to this professional experience. Then when WAL folded and East versus West came around, it was a very similar but different feel. Mm-hmm. There was another level of, I don't know if you want to call it pressure, or like another level of interest that you could feel from the world that you didn't get from WAL. You got like that commercial, like that reality television feel from WAL. Right. And then from East versus West, you got this international like seriousness. And to me, there was a different feel for each match as far as what was really on the line. Like, and that was very infectious to me. Like the idea that this is global, and when you're competing for something over there, you're competing to be truly the best in the world. And that to me, I mean, it progressed every single event got better and more professional, and more people started following. So I love the East versus West event primarily because of the team aspect, because I'm a team mentality person no matter what. And I like us versus them, right. I like that, we in the West are the underdogs. We are the ones that have something to prove. I don't want to be on the top of the mountain looking down. I want to be the guy climbing up as fast as I can. And I get that feel, it's very refreshing. Brings me back to like those competitive younger years where you're chasing something, you're climbing, and you have targets.
Prototype V1, we are going to get to discuss in Dubai and King of the Table here soon once we finish chatting about this topic at hand. But thank you so much for the super chat. He's wanting to know how you feel about your match with Lachlan, which we'll get around to that. Just give him one word, positive or negative. How are you feeling about it?
I feel good.
All right. We'll get back to it.
Hey, you gotta like that.
So how about you, Michael? How do you feel? Because you've experienced it with Arm Wars.
Oh, I've done Arm Wars, PAL, even Travis's NAL, UAL, WAL. I have good memories of everything, right? Good experiences. PAL was really my first professional where I showed up, my appearance money was paid, my per diem was paid, everything was like bam, right?
And that was more of a you and kind of like the mixes with East versus West now because
I was always taking on some killer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, pull this guy, okay. So I really liked that, and I liked those promotions, and I enjoyed being a part of that. UAL, when it came along, we had some of our best experiences outside of arm wrestling with UAL. Like the 2 times we've been on a private jet was, with Robert Drink. So that stuff was amazing. Some of the cool experiences, UFCs we went to and stuff like that, just because me being the champion of the league, he was pretty generous with some of the stuff we got to do. So that was awesome. But they also treated you very well, right? WL came around, and obviously it was more of the same. That social media was really kicking off, and we were doing a lot more social media stuff and starting, you should start this, a new Instagram page, do all that. So all those, that made it feel, professional as well. First, I've only been to King of the Table once, and they were trying to do, and I think that they keep getting better with what they're doing at King of the Table. But like you said, East versus West makes you feel like if you get on top of that, whatever category you're in, you truly are the best in the world in that category, right? So I've been UAL world champ, had the PAL international world title, but still UAL, WAL, all those things. There was a lot of people who weren't involved in those events, right? So, I mean, we truly know who the world champions are in each weight category right now. So that's pretty awesome.
With East versus West.
Yeah.
But one thing about East versus West is it also has the qualifiers all over the world. I've had people message and they'll be like, why don't I get an invite? Or why hasn't this person got an invite? And Ingen put it very plainly out there. You go to a qualifier and you qualify by winning that tournament. And then you get your invite.
Well, you gotta win the finals. You don't win the qualifier.
That's what I mean, the finals.
Yeah.
But that's how you get your invite now. And that opens it up to anybody in the world to actually get up there on the big stage.
Right. And that's such a good point. First off, like you were touching on, Mike, like there's a unification aspect. So a lot of people are criticizing the contracts and everything, but contracts are preventing divide. Like you can look at it a million different ways. You can spin it however you want, but what they do, one of the things that they do is they prevent divide. So
Right.
like whatever is deemed the best, however far down the list you want to go, if they all agree to compete under one platform, we don't have the divide. We don't have the WAL only using certain athletes in the top 8, whatever else. We don't have it. So to me, that's the playground I want to play on if I can. And then when you talk about the qualifiers, yeah, I mean, guys, it's like it's in your own hands. Yeah, sure, invites come out here and there based off of different things and potential matchups. But if you want to control your own destiny, then come to the qualifiers, Like we're gonna do another round of them. I had people ask me about like, oh, how come Sarah and Gabby competed? Isn't that unfair? Like for other people who want a chance? And I said, well, I understand exactly what you're saying, but there is no true exemption. Like those young ladies haven't pulled in quite some time, and by going there and winning that, they guarantee that they're going to get another match. You can't really say no, So, I mean, even those ladies at the highest level are still seeing the value.
All right. Yeah, of course there's great value. So what is it? What would you tell, Michael, an aspiring athlete? What would you tell them to encourage them to seek that track?
If you're an aspiring arm wrestler of any category, it doesn't matter, and you want to guarantee your shot at East versus West, you got to go win the qualifier and win the finals. I mean, Wallace Dilly, who just won, and I think you pulled in some afterwards.
Yeah,
he's made a name for himself in the Midwest. He was never getting an invite. But now he did. That boy's strong.
Yeah,
he just went down and won right and left. Guarantee you, he's getting an invite. You know why? Because that's how you do it. That's how you control your own destiny. You go down there and you have a good showing. You win. You secure it. This whole jockeying for a match and all that stuff, I understand it. I mean, and then it's do everything you can to build your brand, but you're leaving your fate in someone else's hands and decision in someone else's hands if you don't follow the track that is now provided for us. You know what I mean? Obviously, the established people who have names and stuff get invites to East versus West. And this is not off topic, kind of on topic. You know, as soon as you heard them announce or saw the announcement, East versus West comes to Orlando, a million people started throwing names out there. I mean, that's not what it is. The best from the West versus the best from the East. You know what I mean? And if we can't have, you know, so there are a lot of people. Those same people have the same opportunity to go qualify at a qualifier or a finals.
But guess what? And I don't know if you know about this yet, Mike. We are going to host an open tournament prior to that.
Oh, yes, I do. And that's amazing. That's genius idea. So let's go ahead and answer Alex Clark's question real quick. Here's a super chat.
Alexander Clark, what's up, everyone? Quick question. Speaking of WAL, I noticed a lot of Kenny Johnson's sightings. Heard he was a good puller. Is that true?
He actually, I think, pretty sure he won Buena Park Amateurs at one time. So Kenny Johnson's actually a pretty legit puller. Everybody grabs a hold of him, says he's really strong. I gripped up with him when we was on a set of SWAT. He's a pretty strong guy. Good guy too. Been around for a long time. So that's what that thing right there that you just said, that there's a tournament. There's a open, amateur, masters, and youth tournament the day before, the same day as a press conference. So that's on Friday the 9th, correct?
That's the plan right now. We spoke to Engen last night, try to hash some details out. It's tough. We got to fit these things in. That man has a crazy schedule. So we're ironing out the details right now and figuring out how we're going to do it. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but we might have some cool stuff as well as far as award presentation, different things that we're going to do. So that, to me, whether it's a qualifier or not, of course we'll make it a qualifier. But not only is it a qualifier, but you're getting pulled in front of everybody, and Engen's going to be there.
To showcase your personality, your skill, everything.
You go pull against the real East versus West refs, you know, with them. It's going to be awesome.
So tell me if this is correct, though, because when we were sitting there watching East versus West, I actually looked at Michael and I was thinking about the whole Orlando event and having the tournament the day before. And I said, okay, so imagine this. You've got people that will be traveling from the East to compete against the West, right? You know, they're bringing their teammates, their corner people. Don't you think that they're going to be competing at that tournament the day before? That is you guys at home in the West, and you want to compete against some of these badasses in the East. That's how you're going to do it. Show up at that tournament the day before.
Yep.
I mean, listen, the guy who's rubbing the arm down in the corner may smoke everybody, right? That's how strong these Eastern European cans are.
If I remember Mike Homewood told me when I first got started, like my second practice up at Tim Bresnan's, he said, "Listen, Paul, if they have a funny accent, don't arm wrestle." So we'll come. If you're at the bowling,
Tall Paul Hutchins Jr., I actually want to touch on this just a little bit because there's a lot of misinformation going on out there. Okay, it says I do disagree with contracts and bans, though. Okay, you're grouping them together, and there are two separate issues. Engen is not banning anybody. WAF has banned people, and because Engen is actually under WAF's management, he cannot use athletes that WAF has banned.
WF banner, not management. WAF,
they're WAF that they have banned.
Well, I'm saying he's not. They're not the manager of him.
He's affiliated.
Yeah, he's affiliated. He's underneath the WF banner. That's their organization.
So he is not banned athletes. But also, I'm going to tell you just like this. Michael and I have a promotion. Don't know if you know about it. Monster Factory. All right. If someone is an asshole and disrespectful to us, it's our promotion. They won't be invited here. They're not banned. We just don't like them. So they won't come. So if you
that's more of a Michael thing.
That's more of a Michael. Well, no, it's very much a Rebecca thing because I will definitely bury somebody too. So that's also a part of it, right? But Engen is not banning anybody. Now, the other thing, the contracts. A lot of people are misunderstanding the contracts. It says the contracts were only for the day of the match or weeks out from the match. What you're not understanding is that for the first time, We had it a little bit with WAL, but this is a better situation. For the first time, these athletes have been guaranteed a minimum, not a maximum, a minimum number of matches that they will get to pull. Win or lose, they're guaranteed these matches for the year, and they got to negotiate their own terms as far as what they would be paid and how much they would be paid to show up. That's a guarantee. That's so much different than just getting a contract for one match, and your result is the thing that's going to be the factor on if you get another match or not. So this was a very good situation for the athletes. And Ingen nor Dawn approached you or anybody else, as far as I know, and said, we don't want you doing any of this other stuff. What they said is, we have to figure out a way to protect our investments, which are our athletes. And if you have a match in March, we don't want you taking a match in February where you may get injured after we've already spent all this money promoting your match in March.
Right.
Kind of makes sense.
Well, I'm gonna let Paul discuss this too, but the one thing that this is the easiest way to explain it. You have UFC, you have Bellator. You don't see a UFC champ or UFC guy fighting in Bellator this month and next month fighting at UFC and then bouncing back and forth, right?
Right.
That's how it is. Like, I mean, it's professional sport. I mean, you got to protect your investment. You don't, like you said, you don't want them getting injured. But you don't want to hype up a match 4 months from now or whatever, saying that, or 3 months, however long it is, and then you go arm wrestle someone else in those 3 months and lose, and now the credibility of you in their next match kind of take. And we saw that with with Hermes losing to Gardetcha, and then Hermes coming and beating Gennady, and what I'm saying? It's like you booked all these matches in advance. You're like, oh shit, But I mean, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, like I'll flip it and let's look from like the athlete's perspective. So like when I was getting started in WAL, there was a lot of this same discussion and scuttlebutt about the contracts. And I even thought about it myself, right? Like I was like, you know what? I love pulling these tournaments. Like, do I really want to restrict myself? Or what if there's other options? What if top 8, PL? I was thinking that way. And the minute I got the email with the contract, everybody's like, I'm gonna have my lawyer look at it and do all this different stuff. I was like, hey, honey, I just got a contract from WAL. Give me the pen. You know what I mean? Like I perused it, and it's real. It's like as an aspiring, professional, I had a different take than when that contract was on my table, and I looked through it and said, this is more good than bad, and like you guys said, Rebecca said about like the guaranteed matches. And not only is it guaranteed matches, but it's also guaranteed matches with a person that I personally know and trust, which is really important. And then to what you said, Mike, the umbrella is really important. I want to know that, for the next however long duration my contract is, that I will in fact be competing against the best. Like, because that's the carrot for me. The money, the dollar signs don't matter as much. To me, it's about that personal, like what am I working towards? That's me. Dollar signs are just extra bonus, whatever else, but that's not the driving factor. And everybody else's driving factor is different. And I think these contracts, without getting into detail, are, they're more than generous if you are worried about the money and the different stuff. So, like, I think it's really important for legitimization, like when we're moving forward. Now, is there negatives? Can there be a negative perception around it? Absolutely. For sure. But contracts and bans are not intermingled, like to what you said. And like, I get, there's so much misinformation out there. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm the expert on IFA and WAF and disagreements and everything else. But what I do know is the East versus West promotion is housed in Turkey, which is governed under the Turkish, Arm Wrestling Federation, which is a subsidiary of WAF. So unfortunately, being that organization is that big, folks are at the mercy of that. Now, I'm not running around threatening bans. I would never do that. Matter of fact, I don't even mention it because to me, WAF and IFA like controversy, it doesn't even affect us in the United States. How many people do we send to WAF Worlds? And I'm even helping out with Simon and the USAF, to get qualified for WAF. I don't expect a lot of Americans to go to WAF, We haven't for many years. So I don't think that's going to change. It's like we really don't even have a dog in the fight, you know? And like when you talk about the quote unquote bans, there's an application process to get reinstated if you choose. It's not this death sentence. It's not this, crazy thing. And it really only affects that 0.001% of people who are trying to compete at WAF or compete at East versus West. So it's really kind of a moot point. And I get that, maybe this has affected certain promoters and stuff. And I don't think that's anyone's intention, and ideally we get that information out there and people are well versed to know what they can and can't do. But in this country, we can do whatever we want. And I personally, to be very, very clear, am not a fan of any sort of bans at all. And I am not personally a supporter of WAF in any way, nor do I have any intention of competing at WAF Worlds ever or supporting like necessarily. So it's just it's where we are in the world, It's
That
just
was the most politically correct answer I've ever heard in my life.
It was politically correct. Eric Carlin has a question. He says, besides me, has there ever in the history of arm wrestling an amateur arm wrestler been fully sponsored? Oh, I'm sitting next to one, to an arm wrestling event who also has been active, etc., less than 2 years in the sport? This guy had it figured out.
Listen, bro, I've been raising money to arm wrestle my whole life. So back in the day when there was just, you come home and get a newspaper article written on you. I was like, so how much does it cost? Let's say I want to go do 12 tournaments a year. How much does it cost to go to a tournament? If I drive to the tournament, maybe I split the gas with some people. So I said, my best bet, I'm gonna go find 10 different businesses who will give me $10 a week. And I'll get 5 shirts printed with their logos on the back of it. And I come back home after each event. I said, I can pick it up, every Friday. I can pick it up once a month. I can pay it all at once, however you want to do it. But if I got 10 people give me $10 a week, I had $5,200 a year to go arm wrestle.
Yeah.
I've been doing shit like that since day one of this thing, right? Because it always just made sense. And sometimes, like I had a sponsor one year, which is great. Back in late 2000, early 2001, I did 26 tournaments in 2000. I did 35 in 2001 is when I was sponsored. So I just go to arm wrestle every weekend because all my food was covered, all my gas was covered. And then I just go have fun on the weekends, arm wrestle. And then if I made any money, it's great.
That's awesome.
But, yeah. So where are we at now? Actually, I need to use the restroom. I'll keep going.
And Michael, right there, and Michael Workspace says, and it's the poolers who choose to sign the contract, so do not blame Ingen. And that's exactly it. I haven't heard one single person that has signed a contract complaining on social media. It's only people complaining about contracts that have it, like they don't even have a dog in the fight.
Dude, I mean, I don't want to give details of these contracts away, but everybody makes this comparison to UFC. And I feel like I'm always talking to Angan about business because I have a business mind. And I'm kind of always nudging at him to be better, fiscally and stuff, and, some of these arm wrestlers probably won't hear this and be mad at me, but I'm like, bro, you are paying us too much.
Shut up, Pauline.
I know, but I'm like he ups it and
he takes care of us.
He has them, and like that's like when he gets like I get like angry. Like, come on, we know it. He's emotional, he gets angry, we get it, right? But when you know him and you know the core of what he is intending on doing, and what he walks. It's not what he talks because he doesn't really talk. It's what he does. He's paying people more and more and more. And he doesn't need to do it. And if I was to compare this to a low-level MMA promotion that might actually get more views than we do, he's paying us equivalently more.
Yeah.
And I know my value. Like, I'm a realist. Like, I know exactly how promotion works. Not all arm wrestlers understand their value or the lack thereof. But I know that those top 4 or 5 guys in the super heavyweights are the draw. I am a sidecar. Like I am just an added bonus, and that's what I'm going to be. And even like if you win your weight class and you're the champion, you're still never. I know that the 95 kilogram class, unless some crazy Conor McGregor dude comes out that can talk wild, like it's going to be the super heavyweights. So realistically, when I look at that, I can assess my own value as a puller and say that I'm being paid more than my value. So, and I can be really honest.
I'm going to interject because I'm going to say that a short while ago, you were 100% correct. I'm going to say now, however, because of Ingen and his promotion with East versus West, weight classes are gaining a lot of interest. Let's talk about Alazan. I mean, freak.
Well, okay, we can stop all that talk right now. 105 is about to get really interesting.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, I missed part of that conversation, but the fact is, Devin is our Conor McGregor. Right? So he's about to light up that 105 class with all his stuff. So if you have Devin as the main event at 105 versus Dodecan, that's just as big of a match as the super heavyweight world title. You know what I mean? Like wherever Devin's jumping around at, that's going to make, and it's bringing attention to those categories. But Iraqi being the champ now, you come back and you end up winning that title back within a year. I mean, you talking about you being a sidecar, that's not accurate anymore. You're the show. And that's, I mean, we have that ability. I mean, you have Todd Hutchins, we have you, we have me, we have, Jerry, Dave. Is Dave going to get back on his? Does Dave want this enough?
I don't know. That's all.
I don't know. Dave's potential is limitless because he's a genetic freak anyway. But it's his passion and desire to continue down this road. I mean, he's another one that really doesn't have a lot left to prove. He doesn't have to unless he just wants to. But there's still enough of us out there from the West side who can make this shit interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have, we do have some up and comers coming up too. Corey is back. Back serious. He actually said, I've missed having this drive. Corey
I've noticed that he's been lacking the drive. It's like for the last couple of years, his mind has split in different directions.
Well, he's had a lot of life changes. A lot of things happen.
Life is life. Your life is primary to arm wrestling, no matter what. So, this happens. But if he's back, man, that's a bad dude.
Bro, what would a seriously trained and motivated Corey West be capable to do in the mix and the supers right and left?
Oh my goodness, it's his world. When you talk about something like his size, like if he got his body competition to that or his body composition to that, like optimal, wherever it is, he figures that out where it's optimal, and like completely dedicated training, totally committed. That guy is the guy.
He's a larger natural frame than Levon. When he was 11 years old, he was 6'3", 330.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy.
That's not normal, right? So you let that dude commit himself, like you said, get his body composition to that ideal form, whatever that may be. His natural genetics are enormous. So he and I were talking about the other day. I was like, damn, dude, if you took a couple years and got seriously serious, that super heavyweight category, we never know, right? Anything's possible. Eric Harlan, is it true that Nunya will compete at Monster Factory 5?
We're not giving the away.
That's a no, because Monster Factory 5 happened in December.
Oh, it sure did.
Monster Factory 6 will be in July, and we got to go back through that card. We had to postpone. We've been postponing from March to May, and now it's July 20th will be Monster Factory 6. And there's a potential match with Trey Suit, possibly. We'll just have to go through everything, make sure everything fits for everybody. Thanks for the support, though.
John Augustin, thank you so much for the super chat. Don't sell yourself short, Paul. I would gladly pay for a pay-per-view if you were the main card.
Well, you bring a lot to the table, Paul. And you're just a humble guy, right? But I'm
gonna say it again, best damn corner man ever. And when you said that you like the East versus West because you like it's us against them, I saw you on that stage or at the corner of that stage helping many Georgians. I'm just saying, I saw it.
I might be 1/16th Georgian. David is my guy.
Yeah, right.
How can you not support that dude, though? My God, he's amazing. His ability.
8 events. 8 events. I've been getting to know him and Zurav and them better. They're awesome dudes. I click with them. Look, it's Georgia versus Kazakhstan. I'm just picking a side. It wasn't Georgia versus That would never happen.
You just picked the side, threw it up, and said, "I'm going this way." Oh wow. Oh, can we talk about something that maybe we're not supposed to talk about? You don't have to tell exactly, but for all you at home that were watching East versus West, and you saw a confused Hermes on stage.
Oh, can you talk about this?
Was there a little skirmishing Backstage, Paul Linn?
I mean, I only told you and a couple other people because I thought it was a funny story. Yeah, I can tell the story. I mean, I don't think it's like some secret. I didn't even tell anyone.
It's just how Daddy Paul calmed down the situation. That's what.
Well, let's call it Coach Ray. I went down in the tunnel down there after the match, you know, because we got a break time here. I go get on my phone, call my wife or whatever, and I walk out of the tunnel. I hear all this noise, and I come out, and Hermes and Alajan are on the table pulling right arm. And boom, they slip. Boom, they're talking about getting the straps on. The energy's real crazy. All the Kazakhstan dudes are there, and it's like just Hermes and Coach Ray. And there's like weird tension. I sense the tension right away. And my first thought, being now that I'm a social media dork, was to get my phone out and record it. And I actually recorded like 7 seconds. And then I was like, what am I doing? I put it in, I got a little bit closer to it. And I guess Alajan had given Hermes a handle after the match as a gift and told him, here's a gift, now you can get your hand stronger or something like that. And Hermes was upset about it. And that's why they were arm wrestling. Well, it got to a little bit of a head, and Alajan walked around the table, and Hermes was like posturing. I can't understand completely what they said. But Alajan said in clear English, he said, "Oh, you want to fight me?" And stepped in Hermes' face. And here's Coach Ray trying to translate between them. Coach Ray talking to Hermes. No, he was just saying it was a gift. And Hermes is, no, my friend, that's not a gift. That's an insult. And he's talking back to Alajan. And I finally got in the middle. I was like, oh, yo, listen, we're not fighting. We're at the biggest event ever in the history of the world. We're not fighting at the side table. You know, calm down. Shake hands. I said, shake hands. They shook hands.
And did they shake hands?
Yeah. It was funny.
So you said it with that coach look, that eyebrow. Did you see the eyebrow? He was like, shake hands.
No, we're not doing that right now. We do that some other time.
That is fantastic.
It all worked out in the end, but that was a hilarious story. You came back and told me. I was like, oh, shit. You know, Rebecca's like, I told you to go down there. Because she did tell me, she's like, Paul, down there, you should go down there. And I was just like, chilling. You know, I still had those crazy cramps in my leg and my arm that I couldn't move.
No, what I told him was, you need to go check on Hermes because he looks offended, and I just saw where everybody went.
Oh no, it was about to happen because Alajan, like, there's some people that posture because you know it's a controlled situation. Number one, that was not a controlled situation, and number two, Alajan was not posturing. At all. Like, you know, if you've been around Alajan, you know, certain guys really about business, and he is 100% about business. So like when he said, you want to fight me, he was ready to fight. It was not like, hey, somebody hold me back.
So let me understand. I'll be back. So let me understand this. Alajan went to the trouble of walking around the table to Hermes.
He slid right around it, and he slid right around. Like they had stepped off, like after they slipped or whatever, and then they were like arguing a little bit. And he went around. Yeah.
See, good to have. Now you're security too. Corner man, athlete, security, you got it all.
Anything but arm wrestler. I'll be the security. I'm good with that. I have many times in previous lives.
Well, let me read a couple of these comments, and then we need to let you guys talk about Dubai, okay?
Yeah, we're running long, aren't we?
Oh, a lot of people are just talking back and forth to each other. They're not talking to us at all. Hey, reading that. Devin said he is only pulling East versus West and King of the Table. Paul is a top investor of the sport. Absolutely. Sylvester Talone, Corey West versus Alex Cordecha was unreal. Corey gave Alex everything and still put the brakes on him.
If Corey would not have held on, if Corey would have sparred in that match, he had a very good chance.
Dude, strap set, holding on and strap set up. Corey had the strap right on his wrist joint. I remember talking to him afterwards. Just promise me you never put that strap in your wrist joint ever again, especially against a top roller. Right. I mean, I think that alone changes that match.
Yeah, I mean, Corey was in it. Like, he has that top end horsepower.
And what a lot of people, what was that, 2 weeks before he pulled John here?
It wasn't that, like, it wasn't too far off. That was it, like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe?
No, I thought it was like
June 25th, the last week. I think it was 2 weeks.
It was two.
It was. Yeah. think of July 9th was our event. July 2nd, June 25th. I think it was 2 weeks exactly. Yeah.
Todd Washington Jr., you have no idea. He says, I bet some of these veteran pullers have some amazing behind the scenes stories, and some of them can never be told. MMT, you should do a video of just telling behind the scenes stories over the years.
I got so many.
I love, forget after pulling. Go hang out with these fellas when they go get something to eat, because the stories are going to start to roll.
Oh, yeah.
You know, none of the pullers are hanging around for the after pulling, really. They're really not doing that. They're going to go get something to eat because they're starving, and that's when they're going to just start talking. Loose lips. You find out some amazing and very interesting stuff. I'm telling you, people don't even see me most of the time. I'm like a fly on the wall because I'm just always with Michael, so I think I'm like part of the furniture. One of these days, I'm going to ride a boat.
She knows everything.
I know where all the bodies are buried. All right.
So, okay, so we have 30 days.
Yeah.
30 days, your first experience at King of the Table.
Yes, sir.
How excited are you about King of the Table? What are you doing specifically for Lachlan or for this particular match? I mean, where are you at? Where's your headspace at? What's going on?
I'm very excited. I mean, I've been excited about the opportunity to go to Dubai no matter what, especially because, you know, King of the Table is a total new experience. I mean, we're talking about core sports, you know, a joint promotion. I still see the two as the same thing, but it has a different feel, has a different vibe. It'll be new uncharted territory for me, which is exciting. It's not something that like scares me off. Like, oh man, I'm nervous and weird because I don't know what I'm up against. I'm more excited to experience that aspect. So as far as preparation, I'm eating, trying to gain weight, and I'm struggling, to be honest with you. I caught when we came back from Istanbul. You know, I lost my voice. You remember I lost it during the Samusha match, and then I got some type of congested cough thing. So it hasn't affected my appetite per se, but I'm like, I was a little off. But at when I came back from Istanbul, I was 229. And then I had this little cough thing. I'm down to like 226, but I'm trending like in the right direction. My body composition's good, and my elbow and shoulder feel really good. That's what I'm most excited about, because I think this is one of those deals where numbers are good in the gym, but you can't trade. I wouldn't trade health for strength. If I feel good and I feel healthy, I'm worried less about those numbers. So obviously I'm still chasing them, and I plan on being in that peak form over the next couple weeks. But the real goal is to put about a good 3 to 4 more pounds on, and put it on the right way so I can lose it when I go back to 95 in August. And we'll just come in there super healthy and just hope Lachlan doesn't run from me.
Ooh, you want him coming inside, huh?
Of course, man. Of course. I've like totally embraced it now. I'll top roll if I have to, but if given the option, I want to pull in the hook.
Yeah, well, that's exciting to see. What?
So you were sick too. Yeah. Somebody infected us in Istanbul because we came.
It was either Istanbul or one of those flights. I always chalk it up to the flights because you're on for like 11 hours and people breathing all over you and laying on you.
This is our first good day, like since we got back.
Yeah, this is the best I've felt since we've been back. Like it,
you got that chest congestion.
Oh my God, fever, body
aches. I had the worst body aches. I think I had worse body aches with this than I had any time with COVID. My body spine hurt so bad. One night I was like, just call it. I'm out. Just let me go.
I don't know too much of that. It's really just this congestion and this little latent cough. And like I still don't even really have my voice back, which is weird. So, but I've been able to eat. Nothing like it doesn't affect me in the gym, you know. So it's all good. I'm just ready to be able to talk right.
There you go.
Our last flight, I felt so bad. Our last flight home, I felt so bad. I mean, I'm telling you, I was like sick. And felt like I could not breathe. It was in one of those tiny airplanes, and I just needed to get off.
You gonna tell the story?
Yeah, we never get up. Y'all, you're not gonna believe this story. You're not gonna believe it. We never get up and walk as soon as it starts. We always wait till it's our turn.
Until the seats in front of us are empty, and then we get up, right?
Felt like I could not breathe, and I just wanted to get out, so I didn't know what I was going to do. I was going to lay on the floor or something to try and get some air into my lungs. And this woman decided right then and there was her chance to take a stand against rude people. And
So
apparently
there was 10, 15 people ahead of us already stood up and in the aisle, right? So I've got all my luggage, everything. I've just got right up behind those people.
And I've already said, I'm sorry, folks. I apologize. I'm sorry. I apologize. Just, I'm sick. I'm trying to get to the bathroom. So I told them what was going on. She decided, hell no. You're not getting up.
You're not walking past me.
You're not walking past me. And I was fine with it. Michael was not fine with it because he knew how sick I was.
Yeah.
So he says a few things. She says a few things. I said a B word. Next thing I know, we're getting off the plane. She walks ahead of us, comes back, and goes to hitting him. Like, hitting him in the chest. I'm so sick, y'all. I grabbed her hands and I said, do not hit my husband. Just like that.
Like, he punched me in the chest, and then I had my poster, right? My first was poster in my hand because I made the whole trip. And she's like reaching and trying to tear my poster away. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's just beating me in the chest because
too much.
I'm like, woman, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I've done nothing wrong here. You know what I'm saying?
She said, he called me a bitch. I said, no, that was me. I just need to get to the bathroom. Just let me
that was our
lay down on the floor.
But
so anyway,
she was sick, and we thought it was going to be like I think I was 12, 24 hours behind her.
No, I wanted to go to the hospital sick.
And it just, like, we both thought we had a good day. We're like, okay, we're better. And then the next day, beat the shit again. I'm like, my God, this thing's going to hang on forever. So it hasn't affected your gym. It's affected my gym some. But I think I'm going to be fine, right? I'm back training. We had a good week this week. I pulled with Corey on Sunday, so 8 days after the match, which you would think my arm would be completely trashed after that match with Frank.
My goodness, dude.
No pain, no nothing. Corey and I pulled. We got a video coming out Saturday that her put out. And it was great to have Corey back here. And he's like, dude, I'm going to come once a week.
If you can pull hard after 8 days after that match, the amount of, like, what you logged in that match, time-wise, is a lot. Like, I can't imagine pulling at that max effort level for that amount of time and feeling good in 8 days.
Couldn't believe it. Arm felt not sick, but my arm felt great.
Yeah.
And like I said, we went and got the plasma today, so I'm thinking, I'm doing another round of ketamine tomorrow. Because Mom's birthday would have been May 11th, Mother's Day May 12th. So I figured let's go ahead and just be precautionary and go ahead and get another round of ketamine. But also, if you listen to Devin's video, it gets rid of inflammation throughout your entire body. So get rid of that inflammation tomorrow. I had the plasma day, ketamine tomorrow. I got to beat the champ Sunday at a church about an hour away, and then back at Bard on Sunday. And then we got 3 weeks to train. Are you going to train the full 3 and then take a week off?
That's the plan. That's the plan for me. I'll probably take 10 days. I'll do a midweek practice on my second to last week. And I'll probably give myself about 10 days and give myself 7 days out the gym. Then when I say 7 days, I'll still do blood flow. But 7 days, no heavy nothing. That's kind of what I've kind of gravitated towards. I think 14 is too much. 10 for me is optimal off the table.
That's
and
10 no pulling. 7 no gym, 10 no pulling.
Yeah. And when I say no gym, I still go to the gym because it's a part of my life. And if I don't, I'll lose my mind. So rather than doing weighted pull-ups, I'll get on the lat, pull down, pull 100 pounds for like 40 reps. You know what I mean? Just something to keep me tight. I don't like feeling loose,
The medal 365 medal be upon you. Congrats on winning against Frank. Based on your match with Frank, what are your thoughts facing Lars?
Okay, so Frank hand wrist very strong. I think I made the match a lot harder than it could have been if I would have just stuck to my game plan. Because like Paul and I talked, all I did for 8 months is pronation gauge back pressure, no attacking pinning whatsoever. And all of a sudden I slipped and strapped and I was trying to pin the guy. So if I would have done this, I think I would have never lost my hand. And I could have controlled the match better. But I needed the dogfight. I needed to prove that I had it in me still to fight like that, because that was a brutal, brutal fight, right? So I don't take the difficulty of the match. I don't take the difficulty of the match as an accurate assessment of where my strengths are at. I just think I put myself in a bad position. I had to fight around it. As far as Lars is a completely different puller. I think Lars and I are very similar in the fact that we both have a press and we both have an open top row. I think my open top row is better than his open top row, and I think my press is as good as his press. So it's going to come down to, do we meet in the center of the table? do one of us go open top row versus press versus top row, press top row versus top row? You know, I like my chances, so I'm going in this thing expecting him to be every bit as good as anybody I've ever faced. I'm preparing for just like I would if it was a world title match. So because I can't ask him, I got to have this match. You know, I got to win this match.
So
we talked about Frank, and I think a lot of people don't realize how good Frank is. Like he beat Matt easily, you know, and Matt I think was in really good form, and Matt is Matt, you know. Like Frank is really good, and I'm sure he got better since that match. So I think like you said, winning that match that way, regardless of bailing on a game plan or anything like that, it was what was needed in the moment. And Lars, I think, poses a really interesting matchup because of the variables. Because you both can go in, because you can both go out and open top roll, and the big question around who's going to do what when. That's what makes it so interesting. And it's like, all right, how do we predict this round? You can't. How are you going to predict round one? And how do you know? you of course you want to meet it in the middle when you know he's going in the middle. But if he's
you don't
not,
want to go 40 and him go out. You don't want to go 40 and him go out.
We're going to have to read the setup. You know, I think a lot of time should be spent figuring out his setup and the tells between his outside move and inside move.
Right.
You know, like what can you tell a split second before the go to adjust? That makes it, to me, it's just like a hydraulic powered rock paper scissors match.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, seriously, there's a lot of. I mean, so I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the challenge, and people talk about the difficulty. Frank being, you know, a bad matchup, Lars being a bad matchup. I picked both of these opponents specifically for those reasons because I wanted to test. I want to fully test myself. I want to test where I'm at versus a great top roller, where I'm at versus a great presser. I mean, I want to test all those things. So I'm about to find out the second test, right? We're about to find out.
This, Mike, I got a question for you. How do you rank Lars's flop wrist press compared to Jerry's?
It cannot be as strong as Jerry's.
Okay, that's what I figured. It was my assumption anyway, but I don't know, like if you had any prior experience or common denominators that would.
Well, here's a very good example. Lars Robikin pulled Richard Lupke's. He beat him round one. Richard went on to beat him 5 straight after that.
Okay.
Richard Lupke's has never fared well against Jerry Caderet because Jerry Caderet just drives in on him and beats him.
Right.
Which leads me to believe that Richard Lupke's knows how to pull a bent wrist flop presser at a certain level of strength. Absolutely. Once it surpasses that level of strength, he doesn't have a count. Right. Jerry has that level of strength.
What other bent wrist flop pressers have you pulled?
Throughout my career?
Like,
well, there's only like 3 major ones now. It would be
Lars.
Jerry, Lars, and Camille.
Camille. You've never pulled Camille.
But Camille did get a win on Frank Lamprelli a couple years back.
Yes.
With bent wrist press, right? With just a loaded drive and bent wrist press on him. So how would a Lars Frank Lamprelli match go? You know, some people question that. Lars is ranked 6, Frank's ranked 9. I think Frank could fare very well against like the likes of Sandris and, you know, can Medashenko turn him into? I mean, the guy's really strong. Like it's even the Italians like, man, I wish he had some more people to pull. I wish he had some more matches so people see how good he is.
I would like to see Frank versus Kalinchenkov out of catchweight.
Oh, I like that. Yeah,
that would tell me a lot about Frank's hand.
Of course, because Kalinchenkov looks strong.
And I also think that Camille might be the scariest flop wrist presser of all of them. Right now, we'll have to see, but I think that weight, that upper body weight that he brings in that height and his lever length is just so much different than Jerry's. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's stronger than Jerry, but he just might be scarier because of how high he can drop that from.
Right. No, we saw him beat Dave 3-0, and we've never seen Jerry do that to Dave.
Yep.
What do you want to
do? Do you want me to show that?
Sure.
Okay. So Michael was talking to you guys, and we have a video coming out about this. So you guys go ahead and watch it when it comes out Sunday, where Michael's talking about his training that he's focusing more on, and he has kind of a funny phrase about his ideas about how he arm wrestled.
Oh, like an idiot.
That's what he said. Because he was like, I practiced and trained for 8 months to do one move. And I didn't do it. I went sideways. So he got on the table after they did some cupping training with Corey. And I've got a little clip here if you guys want to see it.
Yeah, this is the second or third match. I can't remember which one.
This is on into the strap. It's before the second.
Yeah.
I just cut it. So let's see. Hang on. You can just pull back. Hold center.
That very even can be considered an open pocket. You know, that's just a whole hand back pressure pocket. You know, and it still gets the same effect.
Right.
Because of the pronation. And the more cup you keep adding to it, the more control.
If I can add the cup to that move.
Yeah, see, it's right there on the go. He does exactly what he's supposed to.
And that's even after Corey gets the cup.
Back.
Corey gets the cup on me, back pressure to the rear, and then I scoop from right rear to left rear, which gets me over there with some decent offensive pins.
And then look how low your hand is on the go, right? So like when you pull back, look how far under you are. You see your palm up at the go. Imagine if you're not.
Right. If my palm if my wrist is flexed and my pronation engages sooner with the hot rod. Yeah. So
in that position, you probably require about 10% more pronation to get out of it, if not more.
Oh, if I have the cup.
Yeah, when you're palm up, like when you're pulling back like that and you're like under, if you're not under, you're saving the need for 10% probably on your pronator. There
you go. Yeah. So, I mean, but that's 8 days after the war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my arm still held up fine.
That's what I said. I mean, when I'm in your corner, like after like round maybe 1, maybe 2, and I'm rubbing your hand out and your hand is like locked in this position. It's locked. It is like I had to go like get your fingers open. In my head, I'm like, just flop or go outside. Like we don't have no adjustments right now. Your hand is gone.
You don't think I can do it?
It's locked in this position. It's holding on.
So just put this in there.
Just win the setup and do whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I told Paul after round 1?
Whatever happened, don't let that happen again or something.
No, I told him, I said, I don't know how you're going to fix it, but you're going to go over there and fix it. Just fix it.
Mike, she was looking at the screen. She wouldn't watch the match like real time. And she just
said, "Why are you not watching the match?" But she said, "Well, she couldn't see around the body, but
I couldn't. You
could see better in the screen."
Yeah.
But like, why is Michael's wife not watching? Well, she had a better view right there.
I did. I could see better from watching the screen behind me.
Right. She's actually right. Had I watched Brandon's match from the screen, I probably would have protested several of those rounds.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see it.
Everyone has here's what really happened opinions with not being present. I don't know what we're talking about now.
They're probably talking about something else.
Oh, people making assumptions about practice pools that are put on socials. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something about practice pools with Devin. And I've heard Devin say this, and I've heard Devin teach this, and I've heard Devin, this is his philosophy. You're not on a practice table to win. Yeah. He says his idea is not to win pins on the practice table. It is to figure out movements and counter movements on the practice table.
Yeah, I think everybody takes their own approach. You know, I know Devin. The times I pull with Devin, he usually lets me have a lot, and then lets me pin him once, and then takes it all away. And then we get into the same stuff we always do. But I've also kind of like, I think it's a double-edged sword, because I don't think Devin's way of training should be anyone else's go-to. He trains in a losing position a lot, very not offensive, you know, and you're subconsciously training your muscle memory to do that all the time. But he's also an anomaly in that he battles so much in the setup and doesn't do it in practice that he can gain those things back. But for those of us who aren't that sharp, maybe it's you got to be careful always being in the losing position. And I find myself in practice setting my hand and just nodding my head for whoever, whenever they want to hammer into it. So every time I pull, it starts here, where I don't ever want my match to start here. So I have to like actively give myself drilling, like where I ask my pulling partners, like, hey, I have to be able to work offense here. I won't go 100%, but I have to do these things. I think, as you know, for general arm wrestlers watching, just be careful training like that in any capacity, like whether it be the gym or his approach to no weights and, you know, just arm wrestling movements. Be careful. Develop your program for you. Take pieces of everybody else that fit yourself. Do not model yourself after any person.
Michael says that about the race car.
Yeah, I mean, we don't hit at practice. Well, if I go take my race drag car to the strip, I'm not going to let the light hit green and just ease off the line. I'm going to nail that shit, you know. And if you're the stronger guy at practice, wrap some bands around them. I mean, make it an even match. Because here's the deal, you know this: if you're 5-10% stronger than your training partners, well, you put a heavy band on that dude for about 5 or 10 matches, and y'all shit just evened out. You know what I mean? Like now y'all can bang the rest of the night pretty even. You know.
Well, the other thing too is like if you got a real good training partner who understands you, because that's really the most important thing. And I got a couple of them that I train. I got a Georgian dude in Maryland who really understands me and how to help me get better, and I got an Argentinian dude in Pennsylvania. And then I got a couple of my local guys like Justin. They understand how to help me train the way I want to train. And then I also got like another guy to hold the band who knows how to apply the pressure as the thing progresses. It's such it's not an exact science, but it's so important because if you get that band to that right tension where you can bang and the band stops you after like 4 or 5 inches of movement, there is no better replication of a real stop in a match.
No kidding. Right. Yeah, I mean, it helps. I mean, like you said, you come from the team mentality anyway. So, and that's why you do so well as a corner person for everything else. I mean, everything else that you're doing, but it does take, it's more than just you doing the work. It takes a group. Like this whole process of me coming back, I have so many people to thank and be blessed to have had in my life to make this comeback what it has come so far. And I'm just excited about moving forward. So we need to wrap this up pretty soon, but so you and I are going to be
tomato plants and time.
Yeah, you and I are going to be in Istanbul. I mean, you and I are going to be in Dubai in 3.5 weeks.
Yep.
And then after that, we both have matches August 10th at East versus West.
Yep.
When can we get together between us getting back from Dubai and between August?
I think we got to prioritize it. I think it needs to happen sooner than later. I'd like to do it
earlier in the camp.
Yeah, I'd like to do it early in the camp. Like even where like, obviously we might need some rest or downtime per se from anything super intense, but I'd like to do it right around that time because I'd like to brush up on some positions, setups, and some technical stuff.
Do you know who your opponent is yet for August?
I have an idea. Not official.
So you don't have to say now. I mean, I knew who mine was supposed to be, but it was supposed to be back off, but he just had surgery on his foot, and it's 15 weeks recovery. Yeah. I mean, that could be enough, may not be, and who knows, man. So on the weight thing, I came back home, been sick.
Okay, somebody did ask, are you still going to do super heavyweight or?
So here's the deal. Okay. I came home and we ate bad for 8 days, and I was 267.4 down because I ended up being 250.4 when I weighed in, so I was 17 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
I ate Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and this is with eating carbs and everything, no cutting carbs, nothing.
Wait a minute, let's talk about my magic sourdough bread.
I'm eating your sourdough bread. So
somebody said that in the comments. Somebody said magic sourdough. I read that. I'm
gonna tell you, that shit's amazing.
Amazing. We have sourdough pancakes, sourdough French toast, sourdough bread every day.
Yeah, I mean, I was as light as 56.6 yesterday. No, 56.2. Yeah. I was 56.2 yesterday. I was 2.5 pounds away from making weight yesterday after cardio on Sunday. So I mean, if I'm only been eating right 4 or 5 days, if I'm already at this weight, I think maintaining this heavyweight class through summer shouldn't be that difficult. You know how hot it is
it's hot here too, so. Dude, we're gonna be in Dubai. Like you could be like 20 pounds over. From what I hear, all we gotta do is go walk around the hotel.
That's it, bro.
I can't do it with you. I'll be 95.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you. Are you aware how hot it's gonna be in May? I mean, June 1st.
Man,
It's rough. It's rough.
We got out of there in February. Now you did go back in May for your
we're back
match.
in May for Devin. It was
So we didn't leave.
No.
We stayed in there. Oh my gosh,
Well,
I cannot even imagine.
Hey, I appreciate your time, Paul. Didn't mean to keep you on so long. I'm sure everybody here is excited you got to hang out this much. Glad to hear your origin story. So I'm excited to see where you go from here. I do think that 95 kg title is going to be yours again.
Give me a year. Give me a year. I'll be back.
There you go.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on, guys. It's always a pleasure. And anytime you ever want me, I'm always here for you. I appreciate you guys as arm wrestling family and as friends personally. Let's get ready for Dubai, man. Team Left.
Yes, we got to get some victories. All right, man. Yes, God bless. And thanks for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us for well over our normal time.
Way longer than
so that. Next week, we will be right back as planned on Thursdays. And we will start back with
the video thing.
Reviewing your arm wrestling matches, super matches. And so if you have not sent me your videos yet, and you would like Michael to review your super match or practice match videos, please send them to monstermt243@gmail.com. I'm going to write that right now down in the comments, because if he reviews your match, you will be put in a drawing for a VIP to Monster Factory 6, which we have moved that date. It is no longer in May. It is now July 20th. July 20th. So if you would like to have a chance, I don't care where you live, you do have to pay for your own travel here. But once you get here, you're a VIP. So you get to come in on Friday early, hang out with the athletes, stay for the event Friday, come back Saturday, hang out with the athletes, stay all day during the event on Saturday, and the after pulling and after party, you're invited to that as well. So if you would like for Michael to review your matches, again, monstermt243@gmail.com. Do not send me any injury videos.
Yeah, we hate those.
I do not want to see that. Keep that juju away from us. But as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Really appreciate the support.
Yeah, guys. Appreciate you guys. Take care, God. Don't click the bell, all the notification shit, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Share. All right, see you guys.
Thank you so much.